Many brands get stuck with spending 1,000 to 3,000 USD per day on Facebook and can't manage to scale beyond that without rising NCCPA. If that's you, this video is for you, because in this video I will explain exactly how you can reach a much bigger market and scale profitably. My name is William and I've generated over 10 million in sales for 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands with performance creative and meta ad systems. With that having said, let's get straight into the video. So to make an ad that can scale beyond your current ceiling, we first have to understand why your ads stop scaling or get a terrible NCCPA if you try to scale them. See, the problem is that every single ad has a specific audience that it appeals to. When you increase the budget, Facebook reaches out to a broader audience to reach more people with the same ad. However, the messaging and the angle works only for a set amount of people. So we want to have that set amount of people as broad as possible. Essentially, the solution is to build an ad that appeals to a way bigger audience, and therefore you can increase the budget without rising NCCPAs. Now, as we have understood that, how do we do that? So let's pull up this chart. Now here you can see the relation of the awareness level of a certain audience and the size of it, as well as the difficulty to sell to them. You can see that there are 5 awareness levels: unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and brand aware. Now, as you can imagine, the audience that already knows your brand aware, is the smallest. Then the next biggest one is the product aware, the next biggest one is the solution aware, the next biggest one problem aware, and the largest audience is the unaware audience. Depending on your market, where most people are can vary, but most of the time the less aware audiences are bigger. But at the same time, you have to understand that those people are harder to sell to. Because let's say you have someone who's going to the gym, who's working out, but doesn't have the results he wants to have, and he knows he needs more protein. Selling a protein powder to that person is quite easy. But now imagine we have a person who doesn't even go to the gym, or they don't know they need protein to grow their muscle and think working out is enough. Well, selling a protein powder to that person needs way more education and persuasion. Now, what most brands do, and probably you can find yourself in there as well, they go for the product and brand aware people only in their ads. And that's not because they're lazy, but because they just see that works the best. It's the easiest to sell. They see the best performance on those ads. Now the problem is that market size is also the smallest, and then when you try to scale the ads, it usually doesn't go that well. So if you want to build ads that scale, you want to go for the less aware audiences. Those are also less saturated because less brands go for those harder to sell audiences. Now, if you wonder how to do that, let's go through some examples. Let's start with the example of a protein powder. If the person is brand aware, the messaging is very simple. We just say, hey, here's the protein powder. They already know the brand. They are already interested in it. They just need an offer or some incentive or a reminder to buy it right now. So really a simple static ad reminding them is enough. Now let's say we want to sell to a product aware audience. That means that the person knows about protein powder and wants to buy one, but they don't know your brand and they have no reason to buy from you over another competitor. Well, in that case, we have to tell them exactly why they should go with your protein powder, what your USPs are, and what you do better than the rest of the market. Now let's try solution aware audience. In this case, we have someone who knows, for example, the solution is they need to get more protein, but they don't necessarily know about protein powder. They might also consider just eating more meat or incorporating more protein into their diet. So if we have that solution aware audience, we want to educate them and persuade them to use protein powder as the vehicle for the solution and not any of the other solutions. But now we are reaching the harder to sell audiences, and this is where it gets interesting. If we have someone who's just problem aware, let's say, that's a person who goes to the gym, who works out, who doesn't get enough protein, or they don't even know that getting enough protein would be the solution. Well, in this type of ad, we want to hook them in with something relatable. For example, they don't make those gains as fast as they want to, and then educate them that it's actually about protein, and then at the end, pitch the protein. This is of course harder to do because first of all, we have to hook them in with something relatable, but then hold the attention throughout the video until the end where we can actually pitch the product and the solution. Now the last one, and usually the biggest size of the market, is the unaware audience. That would be a person that works out but doesn't even realize they don't make gains as fast as they usually could if they had enough protein, or they don't even work out at all. Now how do you sell a protein powder to that type of person? These type of ads that go for an unaware audience usually just show them the potential they could have. For example, it could be an ad that shows someone working out, that shows someone having a healthy routine, that shows someone being attractive, that shows someone who's successful, and then you incorporate taking the protein powder as a part of that routine, and you make it clear that this protein powder is also responsible for all of that and connected in your prospects' minds with the success and with the lifestyle that they are dreaming of. Now, these kind of ads, of course, usually have a way higher NCCPA because there are not as many people who go from not working out at all to suddenly buying a protein powder. But you funnel a lot of people into your funnel and even into the market that you can later sell to. And if you nail that kind of ad, it will be very scalable and still be able to run with a profitable NCCPA. Having said that, it's not guaranteed that you will scale even if you follow this framework, because nailing ads for less aware audiences can be challenging. So if you need help with it, click the first link in the description and schedule a call with me where I will give you a roadmap of how we can scale your brand. And make sure to check out this video where I explain how our 8-figure creative strategy looks like. Keep scaling, see you on the other side.